everyone, and welcome to Promise Mascot Agency. Today I'm going to be introducing you all to one of the really fun, fast-paced, and challenging side categories that belong to this game. Specifically, we are going to be running Agency Level 5 today. And this game has a very long intro sequence, so we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. And I am going to talk over the intro here because we don't really need to worry about the story in this category, because we don't worry about the story in this category. It's not something we really need to take care of. The main thing we're interested in this category is actually the game's leveling up system, which is your agency level, which has to do with opening the Promise Mascot Agency as a business and leveling it up to level 5 as fast as humanly possible. The reason why level 5 was decided upon as a category actually goes back all the way in the game's history to when the demo first released, and speedrunner Abby's Corner first started speedrunning the game and realized that as far as we knew, we didn't know how the story worked. There was no way to beat it within the time limit. And the demo was so vastly different that there was a very limited set of things you could do. But one of the things you were able to do consistently on the demo within the allotted amount of time you're given to play it was get the agency up to level 5. Get the agency up to level 5. And so that's exactly what the first speedrun became. After that, more categories were created, such as All Foxes and All Shrines, which are both very fun and also exceedingly difficult categories. But Agency Level 5 is difficult because basically for the entire second half of the game, I like to say that you have to split your brain in 2 halves and focus one half on driving and the other half on doing all the things you actually need to do to complete the speed run. And oh boy, does it get challenging, and it makes my eyes burn sometimes because I feel like I'm just not blinking at all. But oh man, is it so fun. This is one of my favorite categories of any video game to speedrun. But we're almost through a lot of the dialogue from the intro here. You can see some of our favorite characters, Yui and Nui, being introduced, Matriarch Shimadzu, Don Ki, I believe his name is. But yeah, and that's Michi, our main character, who always inextricably holds a broom for some reason. Yep, we don't know why. We don't know. It's just kind of Michi's thing, you know? He cleans up. He cleans up. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's his character. It's so cute. You saw him in the combat sequence using the broom to bash people in the face. Very enjoyable. So now, what you missed story-wise is that Michi and one other character, Tokihira, who we're not going to worry about at all in this category, messed up a big deal for their Yakuza, and as a result of it, the Yakuza needed to keep have their reputation upheld, so they faked Michi's death by cutting off his pinky and saying it was the only thing left after they had their way with him. And so now we have Michi in this body bag, and we, Yui and Nui, have to drive our Uncle Michi over to the Promise Mascot. See out of the Tanuki also. There's a Tanuki there. It just hangs out in that lake. It's kind of a giant statue, and it's amazing. So wonderful. There's a street up there that we will not be going down in this category, but it's very fun for all shrines. And there it is, the titular Promise Mascot Agency. But wait. What's going on here? It doesn't look like it says Promise Mascot Agency. What does that say? Huh. Hotel Promise? That's another bit of story that we don't really need to worry about in this category, but the gist of it is that this is just the building that the Promise Mascot Agency is going to take over after we open it. So now we are going to meet one of the main proprietors and employees and workers of the Promise Mascot Agency, Pinky. Pinky is a mascot and a severed finger, much like Don Keith. And as you can see here, what we were skipping through is, you know, Pinky and Michi just, they come to terms with their strength, with each other's strength, and have respect for each other by just beating each other to a pulp. And it comes to a stalemate, and they both realize you're a formidable adversary. And now they agree to team up to open our mascot agency. So, with the help of our handy dandy K-Truck, which we will now be getting, we have to go start a business and level it up. And off and away. You'll see I now am using a boost mechanic. This is something that you acquire once you get Pinky, and only once you get Pinky. Really not sure why, but it is a thing. And we now have to go to City Hall, because what does every business need? A business license. And oh my gosh, we got there. Sign trick. You never get the sign trick. So, speaking of the sign trick, it might be a good time to explain that there's a lot of different ways to get EXP in this game. You can cleanse these things called sins. You can break signs of the mayor, because we don't like the mayor. And you can collect trash. Those are the three main methods, other than getting these foxes that upgrade the truck, that we are going to be using for this category of the game. You'll see me grabbing another sign there and boosting our way straight back to the agency. A funny thing about the game is that once the full game was released, they added in a feature that fills your boost when you get this dialogue box. It's very interesting, but very helpful for the speedrun. So now we are back at the agency, doing some bookkeeping stuff, making a social media account, you know, things every business needs. Pinky's good at that stuff. It's good to have Pinky around. And now comes a segment that I like to call Focus Phazon, because here I have to focus Phazon in order to get through this dialogue interaction without messing it up. There's a lot of ways to mess it up. But you're gonna see one of them up here, which is acquiring a mascot. Now, every agency needs to represent something, right? So we need to acquire a couple mascots. In the main game category, we would be using these mascots to complete a lot of jobs and interacting with the card fighting mechanic a lot more than we are in this portion of the game. Because this run, we don't need to actually do any card fight, because yes, there is card battles in this game. It is the main form of combat. But we're, like I said, we don't need to worry about that. But what we do need to worry about is visiting Shiori. We love Shiori. Shiori's amazing. So we grab that sign quickly and then crash into this post while talking to Shiori. And that will let us get on our way here. Shiori's awesome, super helpful, super powerful card for the actual battles, even though we're not interested in it. She'll actually give us our first 2 cards right now. That is why the game makes you talk to her, so that you have the ability to do card battles from this point on. But we are not going to worry about that. We're just going to go straight to talk to Endo. Now, Endo can give us his card too, but we don't need his card. What we actually need Endo for is clients, because that's the other thing we need in order to run this agency. We need businesses and clients that need mascots for that business. So we've acquired a couple clients there. Now we are going to do what the EXP highway strat instead of the money highway strat, which is getting these 2 signs and crashing into Tororo so we can hire him. Tororo is our second mascot. He's like covered in mayonnaise or something like that. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not interested in that at all. But what we are interested in is recruiting Tororo for the business and blasting our way out across this bridge to the next story beat, and one of the last real story beats we're going to have to do for the run, which is Jose. Jose is something I like to call the final boss of this game, because Jose, in addition to giving us the ability to grab the foxes by releasing them into the world, gives us this business that we can send Tro on a job to, but it's really more helpful that we need the foxes, because collecting a fox is hugely helpful for our EXP gain. They give us a lot of fans, which is sort of the EXP currency of this game. Now, I'm going to attempt to really, in a precise way, grab a couple of these signs here before blasting into this fox. And that was the perfect strat executed there. A lot of the times I'll miss one of the signs because the controls of this game are, let's face it, not super precise. But we did that in a pretty solid time there. And now we are going to be ahead on our fan pickup for this run, which is going to be super helpful for the next couple segments here. First, we got to cross this bridge. We try to collide with that sign, give us a little bit more boost in our fans here. Now I'm going to brake and turn around. Stop on a dime here, right? Gonna wait for a second till we see the fox come out around the corner. Hold down the boost button and grab it. Now this fox, I believe, gives us 1,000 fans, which is a massive, massive, massive boost to our level. Yep, 1,000 fans. And it gives us the ability to collect trash, which I mentioned before is one of our main EXP game methods. We can now drive over piles of trash, suck them into our little trash machine here on the side of the vehicle, and we have a new and very easy and fast way to acquire EXP besides just crashing into signs. Now here we are going to grab a couple pieces of trash on this hill if we can. This is the harder of the two to grab because there's several things you can crash into there that are very slow and not helpful if you do. I'm going to save my boost and just kind of wait here for the fox. I think we're in a pretty good area for it. Alright, grabbed successfully. This fox gives, I think, 1,200 or 1,300 fans, so even more than the last one. Super helpful, and oh, this is only 1,000. I'm sorry, but it is definitely still one of our main methods of acquiring fans and leveling up our agency. So now we are going to see at what point in the next fox's cycle we're at when we launch off this hill, and the answer is not a good point in the cycle. I'm going to try to recover from this, but we probably will have to wait a cycle to get this fox. No, we did not. Okay, that is very, very nice. That is very, very, very nice. That is like optimal strat. That's basically what you try to do, but it's a lot safer to get it a little bit later in the round. But that's okay. We got it the optimal way this time. Now we're going to blast these 3 signs, this 1 bag of trash, and then do a little bit of a jump off the hill there. Get some trash there. Need that. I need a couple signs over here. I need that sign. I want this pile of trash from behind that truck. And then we are going to head to the main portion of the next section of the game, which is this one here. Hopefully I can stop us from going into the water. Successfully was able to. Now this is the portion of the game where I said you have to kind of split your brain in half, because I'm going to be focusing on driving, but also shooting Pinky, which we have just acquired the ability to do, at these piles of trash to collect them and set us up a lot of EXP. A whole lot of EXP. Whole lot of EXP. Right here in this section. Grab that one. I missed that unfortunately, but we are still doing pretty good here. Do this. That one. And then grab this. Fire back across these two, which should get them in one shot. I think it kind of took a while there, unfortunately. This is by far the hardest segment of the run. It's hard to even blink. You have to focus so bad. We're going to touch here, get this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and now we're going to fire back on our way. Backtrack for just a moment here. Jump over this fence to grab these two pieces of trash quickly. That one right there. Now we will head on our way. And this is sort of the a little bit easier and more streamlined sort of part of the routing here. A little bit more of a, I can stay sort of focusing my camera in one direction, and as long as I drive particularly well, you can hit a lot of these trash bags without having to double back a lot, and you can keep up a lot of speed in this segment, which is important because golding this segment is actually one of the most important things for getting a good time on this run. Oh, we got a little bit of bad RNG there, unfortunately, but RNG will be as RNG does, because all the cars in this game are on random cycles. Unfortunately, we did not get that pile of trash, but that's okay. I can take care of it after we hire our final mascot of the run, Kofun. And Kofun likes a lot of perks here, so we'll give Kofun some perks. And then we need that pile of trash. Now we can continue on to the last area of the run, where we will hopefully be able to finish it up. Now we need to grab this sin, this sign, and that sin. And then I will also just grab some stuff from over there. We'll do that. There's a sin right here we need. A sign right here we need. A sign over here we can grab. A piece of trash right there we can grab before we continue on. You can see this is really a very fast-paced part of the run. Get that, we need that, and then I'm going to boost my way over here straight to Endo. Endo, now that we have acquired several more mascots, have some new jobs to offer us. That's super helpful for us. We want these new jobs because you see that one just gave us 500 fans. The next one will just give us another 500 fans. You see, this is really going to get us up this last level pretty far here. We should get one more, which should be Casso Mart. And that is our signal in this boss fight that we need to start pressing B to not stay out of the next text interaction. Then we're going to pause. I'm going to send our mascots on their jobs. I need clothing for Kofun and the bread store for Tofu. Before coming back here, getting a brief cutscene interaction here with good old Pinky, and then we're going to drive around this corner here, get this sign, get that sign, get that sign, get that sign, and blast the mayor for a 45-second world record, actually, with agency level 5 achieved. So that is the category. That is all you need to do in order to get your agency level up to 5, but obviously to do it smoothly and cleanly requires a lot of practice, game knowledge, and really this is a category that we've been developing since the day the demo came out. So there's a lot that went into it, and a lot of routing decisions that were made by the very innovative and helpful and important Abby's Corner, and by myself, as well as Pandemonium, one of the other any% runners of this game, who I believe currently holds the record. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me in this fantastic trip through one of my favorite speedruns. And I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have. And yeah, thanks again. And I've been Phazontunic, so signing off. Bye-bye.